Hello, scholars. I'm awfully excited to get to talk to you today about the comma, one of our most exciting and most used pieces of punctuation. Of course, cool points if you can tell me who this is by the end of the presentation. Cool points in your mind, not official cool points, because it'll be easy for you to find out by tomorrow. Where does the word comma come from? This is what it looks like when it's written in Greek, and it literally means something cut off or a short clause. Just a bit of trivial information. It's also the Greek word for a political party, and part means part of something, something cut off. So all of these words are connected in interesting and cool ways. Don't need to write any of this down. This is just for your level of coolness. It's one of our first punctuation marks, used first by Aristophanes, that old Greek playwright who wanted to indicate points where actors should be taking breaths. Aldus Manutius, who we know is the man, created the idea of the comma's usage, but he used a slash. And then in the 16th century, the slash gets converted to a comma, and that's how we use it today. It is a remarkable piece of punctuation. Here's a funny little example of why commas are important. The first one says, "Let's eat, Granny," enticing Granny into the wonderful meal that's waiting. The second one is you and your cousins planning on devouring your grandmother. Hopefully you wouldn't do that. Here's a biblical translation issue. Of course, the languages of the Bible, the original languages, did not contain punctuation like we have it today. And so there are a lot of punctuation questions where meaning could be changed. First one, "Verily I say unto thee, this day thou shalt be with me in paradise." So in this one, you're going to be there today, this day. And the second one, "Verily I say unto thee this day, thou shalt be with me in paradise." So I'm telling you today that at some point in the future, you'll be in paradise. Okay. All right, use number one. This is where you want to start taking notes. Make sure you have this down. We call this the series comma. It's a comma in a series. You have a simple list, and notice the comma before the conjunction. We'll be talking about that in depth in just a second. Okay, it is called the serial comma if you are neutral and don't want to take sides, the Harvard comma if you're American and want to be patriotic, the Oxford comma if you're a traitor and think we should have stayed with the British, and most of the time in the United States we tend to put the series Harvard comma in. Okay. In my class, you will always put the Harvard comma in, always. I like to keep things simple and consistent, and there are times when it truly will add to clarity. Here you have 3 items in this list. Item number 1, eggs. Item number 2, peanut butter and jelly. Item number 3, lemon juice. Without the comma, the "and jelly" and looks funny, and while a reader could ultimately figure it out, the Harvard comma makes everything perfectly clear and leaves no questions. Second use. This is the one where students will make the most errors. It must be with a conjunction, comma conjunction, which we talk about a lot with joining clauses. Must be with the fanboys, so it's a coordinating conjunction. For, and, nor, but, or, yet, so. And what we want to do is when you see a comma and a conjunction, we want to check on the left. So I have a subject and verb. I say tomato. Check on the right. She says tomato. Okay, so we have a subject and verb on both sides, 2 independent clauses. We're going to get a comma conjunction. Same thing here. Okay, use 3, introductory material, when the comma sets things off at the beginning of a sentence. That can be a word, that can be a prepositional phrase, that can be other kinds of phrases, and it can be a dependent clause. But these 3 are the most common that you'll see. Other kinds of phrases would be like running down the street, comma, that would be a gerund phrase, I saw you. Okay, this is the hardest one to wrap your head around. Non-essential material. So if there is something that we can pull out of the sentence and the sentence would still mean the same thing, then we deem that non-essential, and we can set it off with commas. Let's look right here. The students who learned to love the comma became rich, famous, and happy. Now in this one, we're deeming this material essential. So in other words, only the students who learned to love the comma became rich, famous, and happy. All the other ones did not. That is true, by the way. In the second one, we're deeming the phrase non-essential. The students who learned to love the comma, that just happens to be a piece of extra information, became rich, famous, and happy. So in this second one, all the students became rich, famous, and happy. So as a writer, you will have to decide whether material is essential or not. This also holds true for positives. Let's say we had a positive that was the movie Grammar is Cool is my favorite movie. In that case, Grammar is Cool is essential material, because we wouldn't know what movie we were talking about unless we had it. So the movie Grammar is Cool is essential material. There's going to be no commas. However, if we flip them around and the appositive was the other way, it would be Grammar is Cool, a movie that I love is my favorite movie. Then a movie that I love, that would all be non-essential material. Okay, there it is. Appreciate its beauty, and I'm looking forward to many happy comma days in the future.